Oh, we're not talking about it. If you look over here, we can show you this. This is one of the these are Skitter parts. So if you recognize the Skitter leg, these are obviously detached. We make all these legs, almost like component parts. So at times when we want to have these things, thank you very much. Thank you. I need the. So these kind of come out of Keith, our suit performer's body, pretty much around here. Sometimes when they're really moving fast, the practical ones can't keep up with them, so we replace them by popping them off. Boop, just taking the jack out of the foam, and we replace them with digital ones. So that means they're invisible, and then they're replaced, with CG legs, and that way they can really fully articulate and grab. And the puppeted legs, which these are legs that have little ports where you can plug in. Almost smacked you there. You can puppeteer these things. That's also a technique that we use quite a bit.
It's quite odd to be working with a Skitter and then there's like 6 puppeteers lying on the ground moving the legs up and down throughout the shot.
And it's an odd magic trick too, because Keith doesn't have 6 legs; he has 2. And he has 2 arms, and he's the performer inside. Not that you should know that there's a magic trick going on there, but there is. And so if you imagine 6 of these coming out of your ass, not so comfortable. But he's actually pretty amazingly dexterous. And the other thing I think is really cool about the way all you guys perform with these, you kind of buy into it a little bit, because he's actually physically there, dripping slime and touching
most of the time, every once in a while, there's the moment where you're like, I'm shooting a scene with a guy wearing a costume and green tights. But most of the time, it is like it's amazing how you buy into everything. And the great thing about having a practical alien instead of it all being CG is that you can actually interact with them. Like you can have.
It's like having another performer.
Exactly.
You can actually, we don't do lines, off each other, but there are scenes where there's real drama developed through the characters. And if it was not saying anything in scene technique, but if it was, say, all CG, Connor or whoever the actor was that was working with it would have to ghost act, shadow box, so to speak. Which, if you shadow boxed, I know how complicated shadow boxing is. It's tough to do convincingly. The eye lines, the contact. So if you actually have something physically there, sometimes it gets tweaked in digital, sometimes even the arms and legs get replaced, I would say. But it just sells it. It sells it more for the drama, and that's what makes this show so much different. Is you guys actually have really cool dramatic moments with this evil, badass alien thing that you can really experience.
Yeah, it's great. It's really helpful.
Yeah, so if it's just a silver ball, it's just not as cool sometimes.
No, it's not.
Or a green screen. We do a lot of green screen. We do a lot of visual effects. We do all that, of course. It's part of our medium. But it's ultimately it's all about these guys. If you don't buy our story through these great actors, it's just a bunch of stuff in between commercials, right? We don't have that. So anyway, all right. So pile of Skitter legs. Don't tell anybody.